First story. Sister's life is falling apart. The best news I have heard in a long time. I 40F have been a long time lurker on Reddit. I never shared my story. This is a typical Reddit story you will hear. But I wanted to scream it to the world. Thank God for Reddit. So, my sister 43F Ursula, yes, I am using a villain's name, has always made my life a living hell. She is extremely manipulative and a narcissist. Ursula will be nice to me when she needs anything, but then she will ignore me. Growing up, I always thought that we were really good sisters. We did not have the typical sister fights where one was jealous of the other. Now, as an adult, when I think about it, I think she has hated me. She would always give me backhanded compliments like, "Your face looks better with your glasses." Or, "You have a boy crush? I thought you were a lesbian. I used to be a tomboy." Growing up, I always wanted to be like her. She was everyone's favorite. She was helpful and kind. Or at least that's how she made us believe. She would always make me feel insecure about my looks and the people I date. The first boyfriend I had when I was 17. She made me believe that he was not good for me, blah blah. I broke up with him. I know my fault. I moved out of state for college. My sister went to business school while I studied engineering. I would come home from the holidays and still have to hear all her backhanded compliments. When I was 21, I started dating my ex-husband, Jordan. My sister was wasting someone else's time at that time, so I guess her focus didn't fall on Jordan. Also, Jordan was not her type. We dated for 3 years and tied the knot. For 4 years, I have been happy with my life. During that time, my sister announced she was pregnant. We all thought she got pregnant by her then boyfriend, Ramai. One day, I went to visit her and brought some food for pregnancy. She gave me a key to her place, and I went inside without knocking. I had permission from her. The surprising thing I saw was Jordan's shoes outside. I went inside her bedroom because I was feeling a bit suspicious. And yeah, you guessed it. They were effing butt naked. Long story short, I divorced Jordan. I was still in pain and very devastated. My parents supported me, but their focus shifted way more towards my sister and Jordan. Yes, she was pregnant with his child. It was painful to see them together. I never got a sorry from either of them. They were like, "SHT happens." I moved away from home. 8 years ago, I got a contract to work in England. I moved there. It was a fresh start to my life. I met Peter, who was a single dad. We fell in love, got married, and have a son together. I don't have contact with my sister. I have very little contact with my dad, who gives me all the insight. Jordan and Ursula got married and had 2 more kids. That's all I knew about them until recently. Jordan cheated on Ursula, and they are having a nasty fight. The cherry on top is that 2 of their kids are not Jordan's, so Ursula hasn't been faithful at all. My dad told me it is a mess. Jordan and Ursula will get divorced, but she is pressing for alimony. I hung up the phone and made myself a drink. I am glad I am thousands of miles away from all that drama. My mom had called me too and said that she needed me. I am not sure if I will go or not. As much as I enjoy seeing Ursula's life go to hell, I am not sure if I want to engage in that drama. Edit. Since people are curious and want to know everything, I wanted to add more details. My sister was cheating on Ramai. Ramai was a really sweet guy. He was very devastated when she heard my sister was not pregnant with his child, but rather Jordan's. Ramai moved on and had a wonderful wife afterwards. I still follow him on Instagram. My parents were mad at Ursula. But she, as a manipulative BTCH, convinced everyone that Jordan coerced her, and that he would divorce me if she didn't have sex with him. She made it seem like she was saving my marriage by effing my husband, lol. Classic. I got married in London. My relatives couldn't come because of the long distance, but my father did. Mom couldn't come because, at that time, she had back surgery. Edit 2. I am editing again because people have this misconception that my parents were bad. No, they were not bad. They were normal humans. I also understand they were in a tough spot. I mean, you can't just expect a parent to choose between 2 kids. Besides, they were going to be grandparents, and I cannot leave my sister alone. Yes, she is a BTCH, but they never let her get scot-free. My parents supported me in my divorce and paid for my post-divorce therapy. They cannot cut off Ursula entirely because she is pregnant. My dad and mom have a strained relationship with her and Jordan. They haven't disowned them because of their kids. My dad refused to walk Ursula down the aisle at her wedding, which I did not attend. I did keep them in contact after I moved to England. They were supportive of me. The reason my mom couldn't come to my wedding was because, as I mentioned, she had back surgery. My mom is in her 60s, so she has a lot of health issues. My dad attended. My mom hardly could fly. But she did visit me after my honeymoon. She was devastated because she couldn't meet my son because flying was difficult. And then we had COVID. I am going to my hometown for some business. I would have gone either way, regardless of the phone call. I haven't seen my mom and dad for 4 years now. I miss them. I do hate my sister, but I do not hate my parents. Some comments where the OP clarifies her parents' side. I think I gave the wrong impression to my parents. They are not bad people. Yes, they love both of their kids, but I don't think they sidelined me. My dad's and Ursula's relationship is still strained. He is only involved because of the grandkids. My mom as well. And I never demanded to cut her off because she needed them, but I kept my distance. They still hate Jordan and Ursula. My dad refused to walk her down the aisle when she married Jordan. I distanced myself for my own reasons. I took a job in the UK and traveled to Europe, which I always wanted to do. I am settled in my life with my 4-year-old son, husband, and stepdaughter. My mom and dad are still in touch with me. I haven't gotten a chance to meet mom in 3 years because of COVID and other SHT. I might have to visit my hometown now because of a project, and I also miss them. I don't blame mom. She had surgery. It was difficult for her to move. She was on video chat the whole ceremony. She and I haven't met in 4 years. I guess she misses me a lot. I miss her too. Update. So, I have landed on the soil of my home country with my husband and son. My mom and dad received me from the airport. I was so happy to meet them after so many years. Their faces look pale, as if they haven't eaten or slept for a long time. My mom was happy to meet my husband and kid. Especially my kid, because she hasn't met him. I asked them not to tell my sister that I was here. I am only here for a few weeks, and then I will be gone. I am currently staying with my aunt. Now onto some insights about my sister. My mom said she is living with her along with her kids. I got some details on my sister. She was having an affair with her former boss, who is married, and those 2 kids are actually his. My sister got a beating from the boss's wife. From what I am hearing, the company her boss works for actually belongs to her boss's father-in-laws. So yeah, her boss is going to be jobless. And my sister switched jobs way before this happened, but the affair continued. But because of all this drama, she is literally on the edge of losing her new job too, because the company's owner is a good friend with the boss's wife. So you can imagine the kind of quicksand she put her foot in. Jordan has quit his job too, because he is adamant on not paying my sister alimony and not wanting to pay child support for the kids that belong to the boss. He will be suing the boss for child support as well. They constantly fight a lot. Jordan is probably going mad because of it, according to my mom. And he was also having an affair with his coworker. My mom wants to kick my sister out, but because of her kids, she cannot. She hates her, but she doesn't want to punish her kids because they are innocent. Honestly, I feel bad for those kids too. They do not deserve such a mess of parents. Also, just so you know, my parents aren't bad. They have supported me a lot. The only reason they still talk to my sister Ursula is because of her kids. I feel bad for mom because she only has a few days, and along with her illness, she probably will be too sick to deal with this. I know my sister will somehow know I am here, but I am prepared for that as well. I do not want to see her because I know I will be dragged into her drama. But I will enjoy the few weeks I have with my husband and kids. Second story. Future Sil threatens my brother to call off the wedding if he doesn't uninvite me. My family has long known about my sexuality. I came out in my teens, and everyone has been fully supportive of me. I couldn't have asked for better people around me. My brother and his fiancée are getting married, and I was one of the first people they invited. I was really happy for them. I had a gift picked out and everything. We were all so excited. Today, my brother sent me a text completely out of the blue, telling me that as much as he wants me at his wedding, he doesn't think it's a good idea that I come. When I asked why, he told me that his fiancée can't allow a sinner at the reception, her words, and doesn't agree with homosexuality, which absolutely shocked me to hear. She always seemed supportive of me. I honestly never felt an ounce of hatred from her prior to this. Apparently, she can't see past my sexuality and has always pretended to be okay with it to not make things awkward at family functions. I also learned that most of her family is in agreement with this. I knew they were religious, but not like this. The more details I learned, the sicker my stomach felt. I loved her like a sister, and I always thought she cared about me too. Part of me feels like this is a bad dream because it just doesn't feel real. I called my brother to discuss this further, and I just broke down. I had so many questions that I couldn't figure out how to ask them. He tried to comfort me. I got the sense he didn't agree with this at all, but was being forced to do it by his fiancée. I was in such a state of upset that I then called my parents to explain the situation, and I couldn't stop crying. I felt so hurt and betrayed by both my brother and his fiancée. My father said if I'm not allowed to go, he's pulling out of the wedding entirely, and my mother was in agreement. I feel like I'm breaking up the family, and I hate myself for it. I just can't understand or comprehend this. My brother and I have been so incredibly close for all of our lives. He's been my #1 supporter. We have always been there for each other. I was so excited to be there for his special day. Now I just feel so depressed and embarrassed. I've rarely had trouble accepting myself, but this time it's really hitting me. I never chose my sexuality. I've always been this way. This hurts. I don't know what to do anymore. Edit 1. Sorry for the spelling error in the title. It was meant to be a fiancé. Edit 2. This really blew up. I'm reading every single reply. I am also meeting with my family soon to discuss this, and will post an update as soon as I can. Much love to all of you, and thank you for your support. Relevant comment from the OP. She is an extremely manipulative woman, pretending to be supportive of me for years prior to this. She empathized with my struggles and the bigotry I faced. I almost can't believe the same person is trying to make my brother choose between her and me because of my sexuality. I'm sure other types of sinners will be welcome. This feels like a strategic, targeted move. I know her wider family is very religious and must have influenced this decision. But at the end of the day, it is her and my brother's wedding. Update. The post blew up, and so many of you sent your well wishes and some really comforting advice, so I want to thank all of you. This is an amazing community. I felt so alone in that moment, reconsidering my entire life and thinking about who has really been there for me. It was the first time in a very long time that I felt shame about something I couldn't control. I've moved past that and searched for answers and clarity regarding the situation. I felt I was responsible for breaking up the family, but you guys assured me that it was really my brother and his fiancée that were breaking up the family. The more I thought about this, the more I realized it was true. My brother did have a say over his special day too. Many of you said that my brother was acting spineless for not defending me and should have had my back from the beginning. After my initial sadness wore off, I completely agreed with this, and it hurt to know that anything else mattered more than us, his blood family. To me, family comes first, and my brother put his fiancée ahead of us. We organized to have a family meeting in person. My parents, my brother, and I. The fiancée was not invited, ironic, because it wasn't her place. She made her position in this very clear. She made my brother choose between us. I haven't had any contact with her since I found out about this through my brother. She has shown who she really is. I've seen enough. I never want to speak to her again. We all arrived at the family meeting. The mood was tense and uncomfortable at first. I didn't know what to expect, to be honest. I just hoped we could talk some sense into my brother. I hoped my brother would see what was happening, and we could change his mind. My parents started off by reiterating that if, for any reason, I am excluded from the wedding, they will not be attending in support of me. They also scolded my brother for not defending me, and said he shouldn't be marrying this girl after seeing her true colors. My brother said he wanted to defend me, but felt trapped in the commitment of marriage. He thought his fiancée would come around to accepting me, and was trying to change her mind. Apparently, it was even a surprise to him that it came about a few months ago. They had been fighting about it for those months, but he didn't want to involve me in it, and he eventually convinced her to invite me. He said the reason for the uninvite was that was an end. The fiancée put her foot down, saying, "It's my big day. I don't have to have anyone there that conflicts with my personal beliefs. My family shouldn't have to be uncomfortable during my wedding," and threatened to actually call off the wedding herself multiple times, to which I said to my brother, "It's his wedding too, and he should have a say," to which he agreed. My parents described the move as completely out of character, and I agreed. My parents then chimed in, reminding my brother of how isolated he was becoming, and would continue to be at the hands of this woman. My brother eventually came to the conclusion that he's going to call off both the wedding and his relationship. He doesn't see a future with her. He said he felt controlled by her for a long time on various things, even unrelated to this. He couldn't have an opinion on anything. He couldn't make decisions without her approval. She was the mastermind behind anything and everything in their lives. He also felt that if they were to have children in the home, they wouldn't grow up in a loving or accepting environment under his fiancée. He felt this wasn't something he wanted any part in anymore. The fiancé's family was also very instrumental in all of this. We found out they were contributing financially to this wedding, and were also very controlling in all aspects. My brother assured me that he loves and cares about me more than anything, and that this will never happen again. He explained how, even though it was also his wedding, He felt powerless between his fiancée and her family making all of the decisions and the leverage they had in their financial commitment. The religious aspect also played its part though, as many of you pointed out. If it was really about the concept of sin, that guest list would be empty. It was very much a manipulative, calculated move, with hatred and bigotry written all over it. I was overcome by emotions at this point. I was relieved, but also stunned that this had ever happened. There was a point where I thought I would lose my only brother. That he and his wife-to-be would run off and abandon all of us, his blood family. I sensed some sadness in my brother. He felt he let me down and was extremely remorseful. My brother hugged me and told me he loves me more than anything, and that he's sorry. We just hugged for a couple of minutes, and I was thinking about our childhood and how he really was always there for me. He defended me when I was there and when I wasn't. He did more than I could ever ask for or expect. He absolutely effed up here. He was spineless. He gave in to the trap instead of fighting for what was right. But I didn't want to hold it against him forever. Everyone makes mistakes. His genuine, expressed remorse made it absolutely clear to me that I wanted to forgive him and hold him to his promise. I want him in my life. I don't want to lose him. I felt that the conversation we had was really good, and we cleared everything up. He's now in the process of calling off the wedding and his relationship. I'm going to be there for him to support him through this. It hasn't been easy for him either. He ended his 6-year relationship with someone who was once the love of his life. He's definitely heartbroken, but was looking out for me first. As for the fiancée, I think she has tremendous hatred in her evil heart. She's a cold BTCH. For years, she pretended to be okay with me and support me. But when it really came time, she showed who she really is. She showed her dark, distorted view of gay people. It was very much a targeted attack. We aren't these evil people. We're normal people who deserve to be treated the exact same way as everyone else. Personally, I've been having a really hard time with religion. I hate the concept of hating us and hiding behind it to absolve blatant bigotry. As for me, I'm feeling in a better headspace now. I definitely feel the support and love around me. I constantly remind myself of how lucky I am, especially for my parents. They've been nothing short of the best. I showed them some of your appreciative comments in my previous post, and it really made their day to see your loving words. I want to thank all of you for all of the support, reassurance, and kind messages you've sent my way. It helped me feel like I wasn't alone. It gave me hope. It made sense to me. I'm lucky to have the people I love in my life, and I'm very relieved it had a positive ending. Take care. Thank you all again. Relevant comments. Fast election 4121. This sounds extreme, but given all your brother has seen over the years and her bullying and controlling behavior, would your brother consider delaying the wedding? To be honest, this sounds like he should call everything off, especially since they don't have children. Before this last thing happened, did your parents approve of her? That's the big question. OP replied. He's calling off both the wedding and the relationship. Yeah, we all did, actually. Everything was fine until I received that text. It was completely out of left field. There were no prior indications. She managed to hide her true feelings from us for 6 years, and even from my brother, until just the last few months. My best guess is that she felt she had enough control and power with the commitment of marriage to finally expose her true colors. We also found out how controlling she was over him in all other aspects of their lives. It became much bigger than just a wedding as my brother's happiness came into question. I think he made the right choice. Comments from OP. I'm really happy he's out of that relationship. We didn't understand the full extent of what was going on, and that was one positive that came out of this situation. He's doing much better now, and I'll be by his side through this. He's completely done with her. It was a mixture of her hatred for me and the level of control she had over all aspects of his life. He said that he didn't fully come to terms with who she really is and was blinded by love. He's definitely heartbroken, but I'm right by his side, and I'm never leaving him. Thank you so much. Yeah, thinking about that hug my brother gave me makes me emotional. It was just the thing we both needed most, and in the moment, I really just flashed back to us as kids and everything we've been through together. It was just full circle. Finding out the level of control and dominance this woman had over him made it even more clear to us that he needed to jump ship. This wasn't an equal relationship. This was her having complete control over everything. I'm really glad he's out of that horribly toxic relationship. I'm really glad this made your day or night. Thanks for your support and words. Third story hash. Delusional sister accuses me of cheating with her husband. Demands paternity test for my unborn baby. I 26F knew my sister's husband 29M before she 29F did. The husband, Max, and I worked together 8 years ago, and I thought he and my sister, Mary, would hit it off, so I introduced them. They've been together for 6 years, married 3 of those, and they have a little girl who is 2, Maggie, my niece, whom I adore. Over the course of the first lockdown, I lost both my husband and my job. Max and Mary let me stay with them for 3 months, during which I took care of Maggie while Max and Mary were working. I then got a job, made some money, and moved out. Edit. I had moved out by July 2020. My new schedule has me busy Saturday, Monday, so Mary asked me if I would keep helping out with Maggie on Tuesday, Friday. Max insisted on paying me. Mary has gone back to working in person, while Max is able to work from home. But a lot of it is meetings, so he can't take care of Maggie despite being at home. So I'm still nannying for them. Mary started acting weird when she went back to work. She commented a few times if I looked messy or flushed, and I'd be like, "I've been chasing a toddler around all day, lol," and she would just nod. But looking back now, the implication is clear. I cooked dinner a few times, and the last time she snapped at me that she could cook for her family. I took the hint and never did that again. I also thought things with her and Max got tense. But it wasn't my marriage, so I didn't want to butt in. Though I did tell them both that, as Mary's sister and Max's friend, if they needed to talk, I was here. I'm pregnant. Mary has asked for a DNA test because she thinks that Max could be the father. I've agreed because Max and I are just friends. But if Mary is desperate enough to ask, then I figure she needs this. Max is upset, but agrees with me that if she has to ask, the test is warranted. We've booked it, but it hasn't been done yet. And in the meantime, Mary has said that she wants Max out. Max protested, but she insisted, so now Max is staying with me, which is probably the worst route we could have taken. But Max had no other options, no family in the area, friends siding with Mary, asking to leave at short notice. Mary is now even more convinced. We just want things back to how they were. Max wants his wife, and I want my sister. But Mary is not listening to any reason. We're growing concerned about her. We don't think there are any mental health issues or that Maggie is unsafe with Mary. But Mary's sudden and certain conclusion that we've had an affair has come, from our perspective, completely out of left field. And she's kicked Max out and kept him from Maggie over it without having any proof. We're just worried about her, but we don't know how to address it without her accusing us of something. How do we get things back to normal? Update. TLDR equals Max is not the father of my child. As we all knew, Max and Mary are reunited, and Mary is getting counseling for her mental health issues. I am taking some space from all of them, just to clear up a few things from my first post, so I don't have to repeat them again here. My ex-husband is alive. When I said, I lost my husband and my job, people thought he'd died. He cheated, and I worked for him, so when we separated, I lost my husband and my job. No one died. Max and I have never slept together. The father of my child is a one-night stand, which Mary knows, and she said she was supportive of me tracking him down. I let Max stay with me because his family is in another country. His friends have turned on him, and his only other option was a shelter. He could not afford a hotel because, without Max and me there, Mary had to pay for professional childcare, among other things. So if Max got a hotel, Mary would not have been able to pay for everything she needed for herself and Maggie. Shortly after my first post, I told Max he had to go home. He didn't want to involve the police before this, but I told him that if nothing else, doing this would get him access to Maggie. So he went to the station, and someone escorted him inside. Mary was at work, so the new nanny let them in. Mary threw a SHT fit that night, but Max stayed put. Mary then came to my place, saying I needed to let her stay here to make up for ruining her marriage. I told her that was bullshit, but I let her stay. She went home the next day and said Max would be sleeping in the office until the DNA results came in. I called around a few clinics, as our original appointment was booked for November 16th, and found somewhere that could do the test sooner, but it would cost a lot more and require some traveling. I told Max, who booked it, that he just wanted the test done ASAP. I had the test, got the results, and to the surprise of absolutely no one, Max is not the father of my child. Mary said that this didn't prove we weren't sleeping together, just that Max didn't impregnate me. At that point, I gave up. And Max said he was moving out and starting a divorce, which she then said was further proof that he wanted to leave her to be with me so Max and I could play house, cook, clean, take care of the kids, and be a better wife than she could. And that's when everything clicked. We don't know if this is postpartum or what, but it's clearly a mental health thing linked to her going back to work and me helping them out at home and being friends with Max. Max wants to make things work, and so does Mary, so hopefully counseling and therapy will help. I am taking a step back because, while I love Maggie and Max is still my best friend, I don't want to be around Mary right now. She said some SHT to me that I didn't appreciate and hasn't apologized. And I'm pregnant and stressed and don't really need that energy in my life. So I think that maybe some space is needed. Edit. I will be using the original appointment on the 15th to test the guy I believe is the father. I know I asked last time about how we get things back to normal, and I'd like to repeat that question here. How do we get things back to normal? TLDR equals sister thinks I'm pregnant with her husband's baby. A DNA test is scheduled, and we're innocent. But she doesn't believe us. We're concerned about her. How do we unravel this mess? Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.